So, straightforward enough. He goes for a shot, he's overexposed as I defend, hips back, down, then grab the neck, dive into it. Maybe he does a single leg. If you come up this side here, Dino. Maybe he's a single leg and he has the head and the stomach, and we shook it across, hand under the chin. Join your hands, elbow up, even if he still has the leg, or you get the leg back either way, you can still start to finish there. From bottom of side control, just try your legs that way, Dino. Yeah, head down this way. If you go all the way down, onto your back there, please. When we're here, sometimes he turns in with an underhook, and we can guide him, bring the legs away, catch, dive in. Okay, so just looking for times when his neck is exposed and cinching. Alright, so we can do 5 each. 5 at once from a double leg, 5 from a single leg, 5 from side control. Swapping over back and forth yourselves, and then we'll move on. On 2, guys, 1, 2. Okay, finishing the guillotine. Helps very much if you have like a good grip. Some people have longer arms, so you might favour different grips. Some people have shorter arms. There's different ways of holding on to the guillotine. We'll go through a couple, see which one suits you best. Keeping control of his body, keeping at an angle where you can bring the pressure and the squeeze to bear on where you want it to bring it to bear. Okay, the standard one would be if he just shoots in, we'll just go into the position. Say he's after shooting in, we're getting the front position here. Hand underneath, going deep and grabbing where your watch would be. Closing your hand so it's hard for him to grab onto your fingers, and going for the Marcellitine. So bring your elbow up and over. I'm just not doing the legs for the minute, just so it's easier to see the hands. But bring your elbow up and over into the center of his back here. The further over you get, the harder it is for him to reach up. Say if he wants to reach up and over with his right hand, it's hard for him to get over there because of his elbow being up. So it's good in that it's a solid grip. It defends one of his escapes there where he might use his hand, and it puts more pressure on his neck. When you have this grip here, this one's actively pushing into his trap to lift the other one. So this one pushes off his trap and it brings the other hand straight through his throat more, so you get a leverage effect off his back. So it's good all around. Other common ones that you'll see is if you go for a chin strap position. If you roll onto your back there, Dino, chin strap, I'll just do it from this position because it's easier to see, but sometimes you have his head wrapped and you have just the chin here. Put the point of his chin pretty much inside the bottom 2 fingers here and keep it tight. If you go for a finish on this one, it's best when you're on top in a mount position or something like that. You can use your hand on the ground, clamp over nice and tight, and then you look backwards over your shoulder and you start to twist your hand. So his chin is here, and you use that as a point to check the time on your watch. So you rotate around it with your wrist straight into his throat. The same as if he's on top and you're doing the exact same thing with 2 hands, exact same finish. We're getting the pressure in and then rolling the wrist straight through his throat as well. Just one more time. Chin strap, good for control, no gi especially. Slippy, he's moving around. If you get up onto the mount, perfect. Clamp everything, hand on the ground, start looking backwards and then twist through his throat. Or if you're on the bottom position, you swap around to the turtle again, please. If you're on the bottom position, you can still do it here and go. A good variation that I saw on it, if you have the chin strap and you like that for control, is to grab a C grip. So keeping his chin here, pretty much in this case, in the palm of your hand towards the bottom and grabbing the fingers. And doing the Marcellitine over top of that one. So you have his chin here, grabbing the fingers, up over, and just using the same exact grip so that you don't have to readjust things to finish it off. So if your arms are a little bit longer, that one can suit people. And the chin strap, just one-handed finish as well. Also, you can do the arm in variations if you're going here. Thanks. You can do the arm in variations where you just come across, squeeze. When you're going for the normal ones, you normally stretch his body and his neck. When you're going for arm in variations, you usually compress his body. So in, bring him down, his head in towards his stomach, in towards his lap, and then start to squeeze and put the pressure in and twist. It wouldn't be my specialty, but if you have long arms, it can work better because there's more there. You can do the Guillotine, where if you do 180, like Braulio does it, yeah, you're alright. When you're here, sitting right up on top of his back here, rather than doing it more like hands of grace or something like that, sitting right in on top of his back, throwing the leg over, and just trying to keep the pressure on top of the back of his neck to squeeze and finish. So just a few different ways of holding your hands and finishing. The legs, you can do closed guard, you can dive into closed guard and do it there, and it makes it pretty hard to escape from. A very more common way would be how Marcelo Garcia does it, if you do 180 again, please. Putting the shin straight through him. So if he's in the turtle position, going straight through his arms with the shin. So the shin goes in here, and now it makes it that little bit harder for him to use his arm, and also we can use that for control, making it harder for him to jump this side. We have our grip. Other leg, if you can, catch the pocket on the far side of his hip here. If your leg's a little bit longer, you can put your hamstring on the back of his shoulder, which makes it harder for him to roll away from you. Up and over, and there. Just to cement yourself onto him a little bit more, and go for the finish. Okay, but just a few different ideas on grips, on the finish, and on your leg position to make sure that you maintain the position. Alright, just give it a try, guys, rotating between a few, see what works for you. On 2, 1, 2. A few things to keep in mind that makes it harder for him to do the most common escapes. Most common ones would be, if he goes in on that double leg again, just when you're going for the guillotine, he's already after shooting in, trying to get underneath your centre of gravity. If you go for the guillotine and then go back into him, good chance he's just going to push in his hip and lift you up. I'm a bit heavy for Dean to lift up, but if I do it on Dino cinches up the guillotine, and then he goes to bringing his legs to come in, and you can just start standing up with him and start throwing him over the side and coming down. So when you have the guillotine, stay heavy on the head, keep him down, don't let him get back up and start moving around again. If he starts trying to jump side to side, I do it without the arm in, but I saw people doing it there with arm in. Arm in is good because it makes it that bit harder for him to escape. I find it's harder for me to finish because you don't have the neck as flush, but you also have the control here, it makes it harder for him to jump side to side. As he's trying to jump one side, always be ready and preempt it. He's probably going to go one way or the other way. Always make sure to block off this side. The leg up high every time, try to catch it. Block where he's going and then clamp in your leg. Also your grip. If you have that good grip, if you set on whichever variation you prefer, makes it hard for him to go. It'll be hard for him to go this side when we have our elbow up, like we were saying. That elbow blocks it. Alright, we go back the other way again, the other side. That elbow alone blocks it, the leg blocks it, and this leg here blocks it as well. That means he's most likely going to try roll to his back. And as he tries to roll to his back, if we have good connection with our left leg, that's why we're emphasising knocking that off. If we have a good connection here on his back, it's going to be hard for him to get away from us here, because he's going to drag us up with him as he goes. He brings us with him. If he does manage to get separation off that leg, try following. So just slow, if Dino rolls, if you roll to your back, so you got the separation, do like a butterfly sweep, so your foot goes into the ground here, you start to drive all the way over to the top. Or if he's more of an angle like this, you can just go straight up and over and then finish with your two hand guillotine or your one hand, up to you. But, so if he goes one side, block him with your leg, block him with your elbow. If he goes the other side, clamp onto him tight enough that he'll drag you with him to an extent. Either the foot on that gap in the shoulder or on his hip, your hamstring on his shoulder here to make it harder for him to turn that way. If he gets away from you, foot in the ground and follow him, or else backwards roll over your shoulder and follow him up on top. Another one that sometimes happens the most frustrating is if his head slips out. So try to get the grip as tight as you can here and your shoulder forward and on his neck when you're going for a finish. Sometimes when people finish, they start stretching their body and the head just slips out here, and it's the worst escape to happen to you. Okay, so try to stay really, really tight on that head and don't let him slip out of there. So there are just a few. If he does manage to roll to his back actually, and you did manage to get there and you guys to come up, try to keep your head underneath this gap. Try not to let him get under it. So as he rolls again, try to come up on top of him. Okay? If you go underneath, you're in a 50-50 position, not ideal. Try to keep your head in, come back up, go again, just more sharper with your timing, or you can go for another finish like going to the back position or whatever. Okay, so just a few answers to some of his escapes. You want to give them a try on two.